Hi everyone, my name is Frank, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Bad Cat Paw Amplifier. So when I got this amp 3 to 4 months ago, the person who I got it from asked me if I had heard anything about it. And to be honest, I hadn't. So I went onto YouTube and I searched Bad Cat Paw Amplifier, and about 4 videos came up, and that was really it. And even articles online had talked a little bit about it, but nothing too in-depth, just kind of basic features and different things about the amplifier. And so I was kind of going in without really knowing much about it at the time. So I got the amp, messed around with it a little bit, also played it live at a gig, and I actually was pretty impressed with it. So I decided to undertake a comprehensive look or review of the amp that I wish I would have had when I was first looking at it. That way, if anyone sees it or are interested in it, they can hear what it sounds like and see what some of the features are. I think this is an incredible amplifier, and I can't wait to show you all the features and what it sounds like. So this amp is a combo head desktop amp all-in-one, which I know is kind of confusing, but you'll see what I mean in a second. This amp has 2 12-inch speakers on either side, so you can play directly into the amp, but you can also play through 2 4x12-inch speakers, which is pretty nuts because this amp is 60 watts despite its size. Taking a look at the back of the amp, we have a stereo XLR out, which is really nice for plugging directly into a PA system or your recording interface. It has 2 external speaker outs, which are for those 2 4x12 cabinets that I talked about earlier. It also has a stereo effects loop, which is really nice for those reverbs, delays, modulations that you have that can be done in stereo. In terms of what's on top of the amp, you have your traditional input, gain, bass, and treble. And the treble is a little bit different than your traditional sort of treble knob. The manual says that 50% is unity, and turning up cuts a little bit of the low end out. There's a fat switch, a really nice reverb, which actually goes not only through the standard speakers, but also goes through the XLR outs and the speaker outs. Really beautiful stereo reverb. A cut switch, which adds more treble when you turn it up, kind of makes it a little bit of a darker tone when you turn it down, and then a K-Master. And this K-Master is supposed to be able to retain the kind of tone that you want, even at a lower volume, which is really nice. And did I mention that this is a freaking tube amp? Because it is. So there's also an aux in, which is nice if you want to plug in your phone, tablet, or computer to play along with backing tracks or play the speakers of the amp. There's a headphone jack for quiet playing, as well as a speaker mute switch, which is really nice if you're plugging into external cabinets and you don't want to hear anything coming from the actual front of the amp itself. You can flip that switch and it'll mute the speakers. Now it's to the right of the headphone jack and aux in is the real bread and butter of this amplifier, and that's the USB-C port and the IR indicator. This amp comes preloaded with 16 impulse responses, which allows you to still get really great tone when you plug directly into a PA system or recording interface. If you're not sure what an impulse response is, it's essentially a bunch of different cab and mic simulations that give you a ton of different tonal opportunities. The USB-C port on the amp allows you to plug it into a Mac or a PC, and you can actually view all of the impulse responses and even load your own or from ones that you've gotten from the internet, which is a really cool option. And if you're playing through a cabinet that you really like the tone of it, just straight into it, you don't want any of the impulse response tone kind of bleeding through, you can actually disengage the impulse response on the paw, which is a really great option for people who have cabinets that they really love. Whew! It's a lot of info, but enough of me rambling about all the different features of this thing. Let's actually get into some tones. So today I'll be playing through each of the different impulse responses, as well as just no impulse response, so you can hear what that sounds like. I'll be going from the paw directly into my Scarlett 2i4 with just an XLR cable into my DAW of choice. I'll be playing a clean tone as well as a little bit of gain using my K-style pedal, which is the Soul Food modded by JHS, which is a really great pedal. If you haven't heard it, check it out. just so then you can hear a little bit of gain in there as well. So without further ado, let's get into it. So those are the 16 different impulse responses that are preloaded on the Bad Cat Paw. And as you can probably tell, there's a ton of different options and tones that you can get just from those 16 different impulse responses. Plus the added fact that you can add your own directly onto the amplifier. I really have come to love this amp. And not only because it sounds great, because it does, but also the benefits that it gives me. I can't necessarily lug out my Fender Blues Deluxe here at my apartment without annoying my neighbors because of how loud it is. So this amp gives me the ability to play with really great tone at much quieter volumes, which is a really huge benefit. As of January 2022, it looks like this amp might be a little bit harder to come by. You might be able to find it on the used market or at some of different retailers brand new, but I'm hoping that it becomes a little bit more available in the coming months. I think with its versatility, its size, the amount of things you can do with it, the different tonal options you can get, and the fact that you can expand those tone options, I think this amplifier should be more well known by people because of how really great it is. I think if you're looking for an amp that fits all of that criteria, and you're looking for something that you can really do anything with, I think this is the amp for you. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you really enjoyed this video about this incredible amp. Let me know what you think and have a good one. Take care.